Hey guys! Wow, that was really loud. So, I'm going to do a serious video today. I'm sure if you've read the title, you already know what this is about. We are talking about September 11th, 2001. I know a lot of people are, posting where they were on 9/11 and what they were doing. And so I figured I'd give, my story on 9/11. At the time, I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was in middle school, I believe. I was around 10 or 11 years old. Actually, I would have been about, I think I was 11. I remember I woke up, getting ready for school, and the whole entire day, something didn't feel right. You could just feel this negativity going on. And I think right around the time when I woke up was when the first plane crashed into the World Trade Center. And I remember just feeling this negativity the whole entire day. Like, I remember I was in the shower and I was just sitting there, and usually, I'm in the shower, I'm happy, I'm singing. I was like 11 years old, what do you expect? But that day I had my head down. I was just, I slept good, so it wasn't, sleep deprivation, but so the whole entire day it just felt really negative. And I didn't turn on the TV, so I didn't know anything about it, and I never watched the news anyways at that point. But I remember I was waiting for the school bus, and so I got in the school bus, got to school, and I remember I heard this chatter, did you hear? And I was just, thinking something's wrong. Is there something happened at school or whatnot? And I went to the class, and the TV was on, which is never on because we don't have TV during class. Obviously, we were learning. And I remember sitting down, and I was watching the TV, and it was about me and 12 other kids, and we all didn't know what was going on. We seen this long, tall skyscraper on fire. And I was thinking, is this a movie or something? Is this something that happened in history? I mean, what's going on? Being 11 years old, I didn't understand, what the World Trade Center was. I'd never heard of it before. I've never watched the news before. It was kind of confusing for me. And so we were all baffled, and then the teacher came in, and she sat down, and she had tears in her eyes. And I was wondering what was going on. And she explained to us, she said, "You see those buildings above me right there?" She was sitting on her desk, and the TV was above her. She said, "Those buildings there, that's the World Trade Center. There's a lot of people in those buildings, and they're all dying right now." And when she said that, it sent chills down my spine, because I realized at that point, this isn't a movie. This is real life. And I look back at that, and I think of, the way she delivered that was just so sudden that, even, the youngest of kid like me would understand it. And I remember at that point, I remember, sitting in the shower and just my head being down like this, and I just feeling that negativity, and I knew why. I've always been a person who can kind of feel when there's negativity around. Like, if some people are like this, you can be sitting in a room with somebody, and without even looking at them, you can tell what mood they're in. You can feel tension, you can feel stress, you can feel sadness, and it's just a weird thing that I've always noticed. And I'm sure a lot of people are like this, and I don't know if it's just my mind playing tricks on me. But back to the story. So she told us, she said, "There's a lot of people in those buildings, and they're dying right now." And I remember we all looked at each other, and the girl across from me, I forget her name now, but she had tears in her eyes. And I was just so confused at this age on what exactly was going on, and my mind couldn't process all this. And I remember we sat there just watching the TV, and then I remember watching that first building collapse and the second one following shortly after. And I remember thinking to myself, this is the end of the world. I'm only 11 years old, and this is it? And it's such a weird thought at 11 years old to be thinking something like that. And, everyone, we all sat down in the gymnasium, and we had a projector on with the news. This after the buildings collapsed and whatnot, we watched the news report the rest of the school day. And I remember just lots of sadness all the staff, you know, the people who were actually old enough to realize what was going on were just, you know, bawling their eyes out. And, you know, it got to the point even I just, with all the negativity and sadness in the room, I remember crying. I remember tears falling out of my eyes, and I didn't even know why. It was just because I was sad. And so we sat there watching the news the rest of the school day, and I remember they were talking about the news reports and whatnot, and I remember they were showing live videos of people, or of like news crews that were down, you know, near the World Trade Center after the collapse. And I remember watching people walking by, and people were just upset and they were angry, and there was people crying. There was people that had blood going down their face, and it was just, I was thinking to myself, you know, this can't be real. This has to be a movie. This has to be something like this is something that the schools is doing to us. And I finally got home and I realized, you know, this is a real thing. This is actually going on, you know. And what saddened me the most is, you know, just realizing that all those people in that building, you know, how scared they were, and all of them didn't make it, or almost all of them. You know, I remember, you know, I don't forget how long afterwards they, you know, got the death count, and it was around 2,700 people. And I remember thinking to myself, how many students there are in my school? And I was thinking, that's a lot of people. And it just baffled me. And it's still to this day, you know, and it's actually something I looked up, you know, now that I'm more mature and I actually realize what happened that day. I look up those videos and I think, wow, this is a disaster. And, you know, at the time, you know, it was really baffling to me. You know, I remember looking up about, I think it was like 3 years ago was the first time I looked up, you know, videos, raw videos from like people that were actually, you know, not like news crews and whatnot. I remember looking up videos and I watched over 30 videos, and I remember just watching the World Trade Center collapse over and over. And there was one video that's particularly disturbing to me, where it was actually inside one of the buildings near the World Trade Center. And I remember hearing they didn't show anything, but you could hear people that actually had jumped out of the World Trade Center, and you could hear them hit the ground. And every time I heard that sound, being, you know, 16 years old at this time, actually 17, I remember just remembering, boom, that's a life gone. Boom, that's a life gone. And that was just disturbing for me. You know, I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's just sad to think about. But it's just what I felt. It's what's coming out of my mind. I'm making this video up as I go. But, you know, I just wanted to kind of explain, you know, what I was doing on that day, and you know, how it affected me. Which now that I look back on it, it affected me a lot. You know, so if you have if you have your story, if you were around to witness it, that kind of thing, post a comment, or you can post a video response to this, and just tell us what your story is. You know, where were you? How did it affect you? You know, that kind of thing. So I'll try and get some more funny videos out here soon, guys. I've been really busy. I'm starting school again, so it's been chaotic. But you know, I want to get something out there because I've been slacking on this channel, and you know, I want to actually do something with this channel. So I'm going to start putting videos out. Hopefully, I know I've said that, but you know, I'm not going to make any promises because something could come up and I'd just be back where I was. So we'll see. All right. So until next time, have a good day, guys. And you know, I'm sorry I put this video out one day late, but I was really busy. I did give my moment of silence, though, to all those that lost their lives. Rest in peace to all of you, and thank you to everyone that was there that day to help everyone out. You know, the emergency crews, firefighters, everyone, policemen. Thank you all for that. Yeah, enough sadness. Let's put it in the past, but let's never forget. Okay. So until tomorrow, finally, I'll see you guys.